Good evening, friends. Brickey here. Going to do a Monday night live stream. Going to do something a little bit different for this particular live stream. We'll be going live again on Friday, but what I thought would be fun to do is I've been very critical of Disney and how they create their own YouTube content. I think many of us kind of got into doing content about Disney because I say this often, even though Disney as a company is often revered as some of the world's greatest storytellers, and I wouldn't argue with that, they do a very bad job of telling their own story. And so when YouTube came around, it was just a continuation of what they had done on network TV for decades, like very, very cringy. But they have a new series called Unscripted, and it kind of just like dives in and gives you like a window into one of the different worlds, if you will, in the Disney parks. And it's interesting because I think something might be wrong here. I feel like something's wrong. Hold on real quick. I think YouTube literally crashed out right when I went live. There we go. Sorry about that. The chat was completely locked out as soon as I went live. But nobody's acknowledging that I'm live, so maybe I'm not live. Who knows what's going on? So fun. Okay, nobody acknowledged when I went live, so I was just curious if it actually connected because they kind of changed everything. Okay, anyways, so they have this new series called Unscripted. And what's great about it, it's just that. It's unscripted. It's not cringy. It's not a lot of, this like, just like hard to get through because it's just like brutal marketing videos, right? And like just so much of the Disney content that they make is just, you can't stomach it. And like, I always think about it this way. If people like us that really enjoy the parks and really enjoy learning about it, like if we can't make it through the videos, how does anybody else get through it? So anyways, they have this new series, and I thought we would do a little watch along because it has some interesting stuff in it. Hey, Carl. Thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Anyways, it has like some really good stuff in it that I think that we can look at and think about the future of not necessarily California Adventure. I know people are going to think about, what about DCA? What about DCA? I really don't think Disneyland is looking to invest more into the World of Color Lagoon, just because that's a really, really expensive system that they have in there, and it's completely efficient. Like World of Color, I mean, I know it has lots of maintenance cycles because it's a lot of technology that has to live underwater, but overall, World of Color is pretty consistent. And they can run 2 shows back to back. What I want to look at is this video we're going to watch about Paris. Oh, boy. And think about, hey, Cody, thanks for subscribing. And think about what could something like this mean for a third park over at the Toy Story parking lot, which I don't care what anybody says. They're not going to make that a shopping mall. It's zoned as theme park. It will become theme park. They've already shown like a body of water in the middle of it. That space will need a body of water because what does water do? It absorbs sound. So putting a nice sized body of water inside of that park will absorb the sound. It'll make it feel bigger. It'll give it very, very nice vibes. And I predict that it will be a very miniature Westcott, like a world showcase type of thing where people can walk around, drink, do attractions, very, very like chill, locals type vibe park. So I want to watch this video and see what we can learn from it. Sound good? Awesome. Let's go. And I'm not reviewing the show and the Adventure World. I know online people aren't happy with it. I'm not reviewing the show. We're watching this and looking at the tech. And I'll have the volume kind of low because I don't really feel like getting copy striked for playing their music in the background. So let's jump in. So the name of my video is Disneyland, it's kind of a new plan with their technology. And what I learned from this and what I'm seeing is Disney is starting to think of fireworks more as an accent, but not the show. Like I think the days of just full on fireworks shows are kind of done. And I'm letting all this kind of play behind us. This is the opening like sizzle for the video. We'll get into it once they get past their opening credits here. They go into all of this in greater detail. But I think that really when Disney, oh man, that's not the volume, that's the rewind button. But I think that they're literally trying to like make it to where when you watch a nighttime show, the firework is the accent, not the actual show. And even if you think about it at Disneyland, when they do fireworks on the castle, there's a lot of moments where there are no fireworks. Now, you know, it's referred to as a nighttime spectacular. And obviously a lot of people equate it as like, what time are the fireworks? Because that's what we're used to calling this type of show. But with a lot of the nighttime shows, there's a lot of storytelling that happens through the projections where there will be long pauses where there are literally no fireworks. And I think what Disney wants to do is make that pause bigger and bigger and bigger so that there's less fireworks, which would bring down the nighttime costs. Obviously, fireworks are pretty safe, but you're still putting flammable objects into the sky. So there's always going to be some sort of risk factor. And then also risk factor for the cast members that have to be near the fireworks. But I also think just as, you know, environmental laws get more strict, it's just like, should we really be blowing up a little piece of the world every night? So this video, they mostly speak kind of in French and they kind of talk to each other. There's no narration. I would encourage you to go watch the whole video if you see something in here you want to know more about. But what I really enjoy about this is them giving us a behind the scenes look into everything. So seeing this control room, where there's just, you know, everybody has a certain part of what they're doing. I love to, if we look at it, you can see that the walls all have foam all around them. So that those walls are like recording studio walls, so they can have like maximum sound mixing. And I like that not only do all of the, you know, different engineers there. Oh boy. Thank you, Spencer. Not only do the different engineers have their own monitor in front of them where they're working their set piece, but it looks like they have maybe 8 different, you know, monitors on the wall where each of them can kind of see what's overall happening. And then if you look over the far left there is like a studio quality speaker there, like recording studio quality speaker there. So it's really cool how they're able to do this stuff off site. This control center for World of Color is behind Radiator Springs. It's like back in that part of DCA. They do have a smaller control center that you can see when you're on top of the bridge that goes over to Lamplight Lounge. That is kind of like the front of house where there's people there that are like eyes on it that are right there where they can, you know, do some sort of show management there. But the core of World of Color is actually ran backstage over by cars. So it just goes to show, like with modern technology, you can have a whole team of people doing stuff and they don't necessarily have to be right on the lagoon. And then the reason why that's important, the real estate on the lagoon, it's worth a lot. Backstage, not worth as much. So that makes it able for them to do backstage operations and kind of separate the two. So it's kind of cool here where they show like this main dude who's kind of like cruising around and you kind of get an idea of things. So this room that he's in appears to be backstage because you can tell all of the buildings are backstage, but it is definitely on the water. And so they have these real like no frill, like pontoon boats. They're just basically like performance decks. You know, it's just like a no frill, like flat floating stage or, you know, I guess like showboat, but not like show boating. Like it's a boat for making a show. And what's fascinating to me about this is like, if you think about it, you know, people say, oh, the show's not that good, but like, let's just kind of break it down real quick. The real easy way to do this is just to build something in the middle of the lagoon that's always there. Like World of Color, it's always there. A lot of times in the mornings, you'll see the scuba divers working on it. You'll see the guys in boats going out and doing maintenance. But World of Color is just kind of always part of it. It's something that's just like locked in. And with Epcot and different parks, the fact that they actually take these things and they, you know, build it out every night like they do Fantasmic, that's absolutely wild. Like that is a huge, huge commitment. Miguel, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks a lot. Very kind of you. So the boats, there you go, Jeff Pike, workstations. That's a great way of saying it. So I love that they go through the effort of doing that. So whether you like the show or not, that's one thing, but you gotta admire the work ethic and how much energy it takes to build these things every night. So one of the things that's pretty fascinating is that each one of these boats obviously has its own part of the overall system. Some of them are actually for workers, some of them are actually the stage. But again, you could do it the cheap way or you could do it the Disney way. And whether you like the show or not, the fact that there's a bridge that guests walk over that we're going to watch swing out is incredibly expensive. There's a bridge similar to this at Epcot when you cross over where Africa was supposed to show up at the World Showcase. There's a bridge where they bring in the barges every night. And it's just wild to think that tens of thousands of people walk across that bridge all day. Twice a night, they like pause it, break that bridge down, and let boats come through. It's just crazy. What's up, Operation Latte Thunder? How you doing, bud? So what we're watching is them bring in the boats, and like the area that the boats come through is incredibly narrow. Like they basically said, how big are the boats? That's how big we'll make our canal or our passageway. So it's all like super precision, but that's the type of design that I really enjoy where it's like, well, we're building a system. So we know that, you need like 6 inches or a foot on each side of the boat, whatever that measurement is. And that's all we need to build. And so moving forward, whatever they do with future shows will always have to fit inside of this footprint. But kind of what makes the Disney park so cool is often they can mimic the real world. They can look like a small city, but what's different about a real city is it has all the moving pieces of all the different neighbors and all the different sort of, alliances that different businesses and different, politics and all this have. And like kind of the cool thing about the Disney parks is it mimics a real city, but it's all controlled under one design principle. So if they want to put in the moving bridge, they can do it. They can make the moving bridge exactly the space that they need to get the boats through, which is just kind of cool. Like I just love this type of thinking, because as I'm pointing out, there's so many much more easier ways to do what we're going to look at. But that body of water is so much more impressive if there's just not junk out in there the whole time. Because remember a guy named Bobby Chapek and how he just was like, yeah, man, we're just going to leave that stuff out in World Showcase all day long. And it looked horrible. Like the show was good, not great. But all day long, you had to look at 4 tacos and a giant onion ring just chilling out in the middle of the water, and it just ruined it. Nice. Have fun at Walt Disney World. That's cool. So these are aquatic drones. They call ducks, and this is a brand new show element that they added to it. So I was like, dude, if they're putting drones in the water and then those drones take flight, that changes everything with what could happen at as a show when they build something over in the Toy Story parking lot. That could change everything because like the way that I see it, you have to have a huge flight path for the drones to come in. But if the drones can just take off like straight up from the performance area, that would change everything. So when I saw the ducks, I'm like, yo, that's next level. Sadly, the ducks don't leave the water. They're just pieces of the show that kind of move around the water. They don't really add a ton to it. I mean, it's probably a pretty new technology. But they do add sort of a chaos, like kind of a rhythm of just like different lights kind of dancing around in the water. So there's just multiple levels of the storytelling. So he's talking about the ducks. It's kind of cool. Um, I do wish that they'll that they did just a little bit more than what they do, but like it's a new technology. Jesse says, "What about using something like this for Fantasmic?" I mean, it could be cool. The only problem with Fantasmic is the waterway is just so extremely tight. So it's like this is a lake. The river is even crazier that they do Fantasmic on a river every night. So it's just cool how much backstage that they're showing. This dude is putting small sets of pyro on some of these drones, which is kind of cool to think about. Like if you have a drone that can get a firework to a certain position, then it eliminates the amount of discharge that it needs to get to that position. And it also makes things like a lot more flexible. And then again, like, the idea that they want to get away from using fireworks and use fireworks more as the accent. Look at how many of the ducks have lights on them, and look how many have pyro on them. The light ones probably are 2-to-1 to the pyro ones. So pretty cool. But this is the thing that I'm curious about is you have to have all your ducks in a row, right? Because if you think about it, you have to, like, when you put them in the water, they're all programmed, they're all sequenced. So do you have to pull them out of the water in a certain order and then line them up in a certain order? Or can you just drop the boats in the water and then they instantly know this is where I'm supposed to go and they get into whatever formation? But it seems like if you just randomly toss them in and then they all had a fight to their like core positioning, would they not like collide with each other? Because like when you have an autonomous car, it can control itself, but it can't control what the other cars around it are doing. So here they are getting those two ducks that need to get fixed, getting ready to launch these bad boys out, which is kind of interesting that the ducks go from a staging platform to their own little barge here, and then they just set them out, and then there they go. So, I mean, I guess if you set them out one at a time and they each know where they're supposed to go in the sequence, they could find their way there. Like, I guess you wouldn't just throw like 100 of them in the water at once and be like, good luck. But it's a pretty cool technology. It's just like an oversized pixel that they can kind of control. Let's see here. Pandora says, maybe the ducks don't leave the water yet. They could improve the tech. I mean, yeah, it's like all of this stuff is a moving target, literally, right? Like all of this stuff can like take off and do something crazy, do something bigger. Who knows? It's kind of cool to see where it all goes. I mean, just like in the last, 5-6 years, just the innovative ways that these things have been getting used is pretty fascinating. I mean, I guess they're called ducks because they go in and out of water. So, they're just showing everybody in the backstage area, kind of getting everything in the control center set up. This is a pre-test before they actually test it in front of, the park just opened up and this video has been out for a handful of days. So even the people they're testing it in front of are obviously on some sort of media list or friends and family list. But it is cool for them to put cameras in here and kind of show the overall behind the stage. So there's the spots, fireworks as an accent. Like there's a crown of lights that are going around the bottom of that main staging area. Again, not just like constant fireworks, but fireworks are kind of like the pulse, and they're trying to fill that out with everything else. Obviously, you see these people get excited to see a project they've probably been working on for years come together. So that right there, that's not the ducks. That are aerial drones that we'll see later. That those drones, and this is where this video really got me thinking about stuff that could happen in the Toy Story parking lot. Those drones go out on the barge. They don't need any sort of like flyover space like what they did at Disney Springs, where on the back end of where like, is it House of Blues or whatever that sits on the far end, like over where Cirque du Soleil is at Disney Springs, they had a field where all the drones were sitting there, and then they went up and they went out over the body of water and they performed their show, and then they went back to their staging area so that the drones were never at any point over the top of any of the guests. That means you have to have like, somewhere in your body of water, you have to have a big open space for all that to happen. But if the drones can get loaded on the barge backstage, and then the barge makes its way out to the center of the lagoon, and the barge is the liftoff, so the drones literally only have to go up and come back down in an area where you're not going to have any people because you're doing pyrotechnics and all kinds of other stuff. That makes a nighttime show so much more possible if they ever build something in the Toy Story parking lot. Thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it. I love what I do. If you look at the top of this video, every time I hit pause or anything, there's the name of the video right there. Inside Disney Cascade. It's over on the Disney Parks channel. Very, very easy to find, and I will link it in the description here when I'm done tonight. So there we go. A little bit of fireworks, spotlights doing a lot of heavy lifting. We see fountains on the bottom, and then we see the ducks. So let's just do a quick count. Ducks, fountains, ring of lights at the bottom of the crown, firework accents, and then the spotlights. So right now we have 5 different layers of storytelling. When you think about the music, the emotion, having 5 different places to position in, like different kind of building of scenes and kind of going with the flow of the music and how the emotions hit, that really gives the engineers like a lot to choose from when they're trying to sync all this up to whatever sort of story and emotion they're trying to tell. Lydia. I wanted to thank you so much for on my Fort Wilderness. No, not on my Fort Wilderness video. On my California Adventure update that said April, because it'll be April in 2 days. I want to thank you for defending the fact that it said April for the guy who was like, I mean, look at the calendar. It's not April. It's like, when you broke down, magazines will have the date in the future. I wanted to hug you. I was so excited that you and I were on the same page. So thank you so much, Lydia, for having my back and for defending the fact that if you label the video March, it's outdated in 3 days. If you label the video April, then it's ahead 3 days and it will make sense in 4 days because I talk about stuff that's happening in April. So thank you, Lydia, for getting it. I appreciate that. Dude is stoked seeing all of his hard work come together. Love that for him. So this is like this isn't the pace of the entire show. Like what we're looking at right here is the final crescendo. I love that. Oh, you work in print. I was like, damn, she's on it. So yeah, that makes sense that you work in print. Well, may you have a job for many, many years to come, my friend. So they just got to see their main crescendo. I like that whatever is on his button kind of makes it look like he's wearing or his name badge. Like he's got something from his jacket hanging down, and at times it looks like he's wearing a Wu-Tang pin on his jacket. Like, look at that cut down and how the top, the castle that's in there, like it kind of looks like the Wu-Tang W. Maybe he's down with the Wu, who knows? So many people to put a show like this together. It's kind of wild. Oh, Ben's got his little gold tag on there. So this is a cool shot. This panning shot that goes by pretty fast. It kind of gives you an idea of just how many different layers that they have here for the storytelling. And, if you mix music or you do anything like that, just the more options you have, the more emotions that you can pass over to the viewer. It's why I love, like on the main channel, I've done back-to-back like documentaries. I did one about the VIP tours. I just did one about Fort Wilderness. And I love putting music in the videos because not only can you like edit to the beat, but you can tell the story to the beat. And it just really, really changes it. Like maybe for members, I'll put up a scene without music and a scene with music because you have no idea. When I get done with my voiceover and I have the story done, and then I put the music score on it, you have no idea how much it changes things. And so, basically everything that we're looking at on the screen is just to make the music feel more emotional. Like that, like all of this show would be nothing without the music. Because if the speakers went down, you're just watching a bunch of bullshit. But if the pyro goes down and they just play the music, you're still feeling it. Like the music is the spine to all of this stuff. Theme Park Pro, the drones are dull. They're not supposed to be the show though. They're an accent. It's like So are light bulbs. Light bulbs are dull too. It's how all of it comes together, which I think makes the excitement. Maybe you don't like the nighttime shows, but yeah, watching a drone by itself is just watching a light bulb fly through the sky. But if the drone is part of a much bigger show, then it becomes something way different. So I think she's like the boss lady, show director, creative development. I mean, I agree with you. Like, just doing a pattern in the sky is just kind of boring. I don't think that the perfect application for drones has been found yet. I saw somebody say that this could use more fountains. I think kind of the idea, like not defending it, it's, I don't even care how good the show is. I'm just breaking down the technology. Um, I think the idea, though, was something like this. If I'm just thinking about this from like what I deal with when working with clients in a professional space, is it like, yeah, it'd be nice to have more lights. It'd be nice to have more fountains. It'd be nice to have more drones. Like, the more you can have, the better. But I think what they're trying to do is to find a balance between the different mixed media. And I think that's really what they're going for here. All right. So this is cool. This is a like AutoCAD rendering of their overall showpiece. So this is what we saw them bringing out earlier. So the way that I'm reading this, the center square is one barge, and then the four pieces that come off of it that make the cross or the X, those are other barges. And then I think they probably tow out what would be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, those other decks. And this is essentially like the staging that they're working with. And it's kind of interesting that all of them are flat except for the one in the middle that looks like a WWE ring, because that one has like the upper like trusses on it that has you know pyro lights and all that stuff. So it's pretty interesting to think about, like, since it's modular, if you wanted to change a show and like somebody said it needs more fountains, if they were like, well, the next show he does needs more fountains, since it's modular, you can just kind of be like, well, let's change the outer ring to be more fountains, or let's change the outer ring to be more pyro or more lights. You can't do that with World of Color. To change any of the infrastructure in World of Color would be way more expensive than just buying a new deck that has different hardware mounted to it. So the flexible nature of this is something that makes me excited, because if you think about this, what we're looking at right now, this is how I read this. I read this as that it's basically Lego, and we can snap on more lights. We can snap on more pyro. We can snap on more fountains. Like, whatever show you want me to tell, I can build this for what I need. And that's awesome. I mean, when they do castle shows, they're so limited by where they can put the infrastructure. They can't just roll this out in front of the castle every night. So these type of modular water shows really gives them the flexibility of like, okay, the show that we did in 2026, it wasn't your favorite. We got fan feedback. People wanted more of this. They wanted less of that. They want a video board, or they want projections in the water. This just gives you the availability to constantly be changing. I think that's awesome. There it is again from a different rendering, giving you kind of an idea of like whatever this guy's looking at. Like, I'm assuming all those white squares are whatever he's in charge of. And it's also cool too that they can like animate it and look, they can watch this digitally, which is incredibly cheap, no wear and tear on the environment. And they can really get an idea of like watching it as an animation and go, that feels pretty good. Now let's do a test out in the water, because a test is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. As I pointed out earlier, there you can see that they have like for real like recording studio sound system in this room, so everything that they're watching is like perfectly mixed. So this just gives you sort of a grid for the AutoCAD type program that they're using. You can see that guy's kind of rendering around where you can look at it from different directions. Like, nowadays, when they build a theme park, land, or an attraction, before they pay for it, the management puts on, VR, and walks through it. Like they fully render out all the experiences and do them in a 360 mock-up before they actually write the check for it, which I think is like fascinating that, at one point Iger, Chapek, and Damaro walked through like Galaxy's Edge when it was just on a hard drive and didn't exist yet. I think that's just fascinating that you can, they go out there, they fly the balloons give them the idea of the sight lines. They have, what are those guys called that you see them in the middle of the roads? Surveyors come out, survey the land, and they literally have it all mapped out. They build it digitally. They make a render of it. They walk through it. Absolutely fantastic. I love that. So yeah, I mean, here these drones, the drones are just like adding like another layer, like another texture to it. They're not doing anything that fancy, but they're just adding movement, kinetic energy, and they're also adding an unpredictable nature where you understand what's going to come from the barge, but something that's flying around, it just makes it a little bit more unpredictable. And the way that good nighttime shows work is they should be just like constantly building, like when you go see a concert, a really good show has production that's hidden from you. So like when they first come out, it's like, okay, cool, it's the lights. And then after a song, they turn on the video board. Then after they turn on the video board, maybe they have some pyro. Like a good show just keeps adding layers to it the further the show goes in. And what does that do? It resets your senses. It retunes you as a participant. And it also makes your brain think, I got to keep watching this because I don't know what's going to happen next. So that's good visual storytelling. But like, look at this. It looks like Motley Crue's getting ready to play. There's so much gear out there. Yeah, let's give Brickey thumbs up. Come on. Not playing? She's got the right idea. Where's the thumbs ups at? Here come the ducks. Ducks are so cool. I'm going to just get one duck and just put it in the lagoon by my house. What color do you want it? Green? Oh, they're pumped. Tonight's the night, baby. Been working on this for months, probably a year. Tonight's the night. I'm not a fan of those bulky projection boxes. Man, you guys are not feeling this. The more you add, the more points of failure at higher the cost. Finally, water drones are a great addition. I'm like looking over the chat and everybody's like, show's not that good. Don't like the land. Don't like the boxes. Needs more fountains. And you guys get on me for being negative. Here we get some close-ups of the ducks doing their thing. Hey, this guy here like rocking out. Like, this guy has programmed this so many times, lining up the explosion with the clip of the audio. And the fact that he's doing this, he's just like, I have done this so many times. I cannot wait to see this go off. It does give a new meaning to the Disney ducks. So there's the little pyro dudes, just adding a little sparkler. But think about this. This is kind of cool, right? You can take those ducks that have the sparklers on them. They can probably, it looked like they had 3 or 4 charges, so they could probably do that like 3 or 4 times in a show. But it gives you the availability at one point of the show. That sparkle ring could be wide. It could narrow. It could, be very dense or sparse. It could be 2 layers, 3 layers. So depending on what kind of story you're telling, you can actually move where the sparkler goes off inside of the storytelling canvas. It may not seem like that big of a deal now because our brains are limited to where this technology can go. But I'm telling you guys, this is all on the way of doing something like what we're looking at is just the basic 101, just people being like, could it work on a boat? And you know how technology works. It just goes from thing to thing to thing. Where at some point there could be boats going around the lagoon that have animatronics on them. So there's actually like dancers and performers that are going around that are all being controlled by boats. Like there will be animatronics on drones flying through the air at some time. There will be sets of drones that have like a mesh that we can't see with our eye that has a projection board on it. So it's like a flying movie screen that's malleable and can go around. There will be drones that have projectors on them that are projecting things all around us. Like this shit is only going to get more tech. I guarantee you that. All right. So they did the big test. They're super pumped. Well, I think the way that they choose their music is based off of popularity. Like they have big data that shows what how do I pick my music? I have to pick my music from Epidemic Sound, and I pick my music based on the rhythm of what I'm trying to tell and the emotion I'm trying to invoke. But if you have the Disney catalog, you know, you want your soundtrack to be peaks and valleys. Like it can't be all down tempo, it can't be all up tempo. Like you want to just kind of roll through. That's a good note. Less likely to get canceled due to high wind when you're low on the ground. So here they all are getting pumped up. These videos are pretty good, man. Like, there's not a shitty narrator. There's not like some cheesy person be like, and then we took the drones and we put them in the water. How's that going to work? Hey, John, I see you have a drone. What are you doing? Well, I'm telling you what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the drone in the water. It's going to go out. We call these ducks, and that stands for Disney Unclassified Charging Kinetic Service. All right. This is a lot of work. And I love that they're just doing it with crates that you would put vinyl or milk in. So my man is loading up all the drones. My question is, does each one of these drones have a serial number on it? And does this case that it's being put on, like, am I putting like drone 7 and 7, drone 8 and 8, drone 9 and 9? Or can you just put them in there randomly and they just figure out where the hell they're supposed to go? Let's look here. G. No, that's a power button. That's not a G. And the reason why the audio's down is because they have music playing on here and I don't want to get a copy strike. So they're putting the batteries on the back of the drones. Dude, think about the guy who like comes into work and they're like, Josh, did you charge the drones last night? Oh, I forgot to plug them in. Dude, there's so many chargers. Like, I think I got a lot of chargers. This would be so many chargers. But it's just like absolutely wild how much work this is to do every single night. So they're rolling out the ducks. Ducks have all been put backstage, pulled out of the water. They've all been recharged. Light bulbs have been checked. I like that they're just on like kind of like an industrial baker's rack. Because this is all brand new park. Like, I love the industrial look of it. All the stairs are like the like industrial, like, you know, aluminum or whatever with the steel grade so the snow and the water can go right through because it's a cold environment. All the buildings look like they're, you know, like trailers, fresh concrete poured. Like, I love that this is all just like completely brand new. Vincent got a good head of hair, nice mustache, strong jawline. So audience begins to arrive. I'm assuming this is some sort of preview audience, employees, or some sort of guest list because the park wasn't open, obviously, when they're doing this. That looks like that's the new like Tangled area or or the new restaurant they put in. But you can see that again, what they learned from Disneyland is this body of water has those multiple levels. So, you know, you can watch from the restaurant level, you can get down there on the side level where the benches are, where those people are filling in. I'm assuming that those street lights are going to be interactive, just like they do at World of Color. There you can see their Tower of Terror hanging out over there. That's that center stage that's in the middle of the production area. It's the only one that seems to have much vertical stuff to it. The idea is to connect the energy grid to the center, so I guess the center also has the power. The barge is anchored into the center of the lake. Sorry that I'm over the top of the text. I got to be someplace. They have 4 buoys that are perfectly centered in the middle of the water, so they know exactly where the center stage goes. To avoid instability, the level of the platforms we're going to add all around it. Just look at all those drones everywhere. And then there's one of the smaller, like little work boats. But they don't have the outer ring of platforms out yet, which is interesting. And if you're just joining, like I talked about, this backstage room for World of Colors behind like the Cars Land area. They've got good weather. So I guess weather still is a factor. Every time I've been to Disneyland Paris and I've seen the nighttime show, I still haven't seen the castle during the nighttime show because there's always so much moisture in the air that one firework goes up and then it's just a giant cloud and you can't see the castle anymore. He put his head on her shoulder. That's harassment in the workplace. I would be filing a grievance against him right now. Do not put your head on people's shoulders. Not in the workplace. We do not do that. If you see me in the park, do not put your head on my shoulder. I'll trade buttons with you, but I will not let you put your head on my shoulder. So look at this mess. Like, look at all, I mean, when we see it, so this is what we saw on that computer screen. This is the outer, the 4 outer barges. We're seeing the decks that have gotten installed. Like, this is a lot of gear to load out every night. This is crazy. Yeah, obviously, Ed, you're late. These barges all live backstage all day long. There's a bridge that swings open. They bring everything out every night. They do the show. Then it all goes back. Bridge swings back over, and it all stays backstage to get prepped for the next day. And I guess that's an important thing, too, about keeping this stuff backstage is that they can get out there, do maintenance, reload their fireworks, charge all their drones. Like, they can do all of that stuff without you seeing workers. And there's many mornings that when I go to DCA, because I'm a rope dropper, to get the footage of the park so empty, I'll see the guys out there in boats, or I'll see World of Color above sea level. And, there's scuba divers. Like, they mess with World of Color all the time. If you get there late in the afternoon, you probably don't see it, or they might just have like the fountains going and stuff. They do that sometimes in the afternoons. But if you get there in the morning, they're constantly doing maintenance to it, which for a guy like me, that's cool to see. Does ruin a little bit of the magic. John, she touched his shoulder first. Well, then I'm writing them both up. I'm writing to HR on both of them then, because I'm not having that in the workplace. No way. So there are some of those. So that right there, those are those like rotating show lights. You see 2 of them that he's just walking past. Sometimes those lights get put in bubbles, like they have a glass dome around them so the weather will not affect them. If you were to look on top of Snow White and Peter Pan in Fantasyland, they have dozens of those things on their roof line to do the nighttime shows. They're all like, if you looked at the roof line in Fantasyland, I did a video about how the nighttime shows works. I accidentally called those lasers, and did the production nerds yell at me for that. But when I was in a band, we used to refer to the house lights as gels because they're just on the rack, and we'd refer to these as lasers because they kind of moved around like lasers. Do not call them lasers. The nerds get mad. Oh, you could have a laser shoot out at the crowd. And then I just write back, hey, tag the comment. I accidentally called them lasers. 9 months later, this dude called those lasers. Did he stamp 3015? Did anybody else hear this moron call it a laser? All I got to say is don't ever make a mistake on the internet because people will never forget. Don't call a light bulb a laser or you'll lose your life. So look at this. They're all getting locked into place. Ed Strong, in the country of Moranovina, putting your head on someone's shoulder is a sign of respect. Well, not here, baby. We're not Moranovina anymore. You put your head on my shoulder, that is disrespect. And not only that, you're sexually harassing me because you're trying to take my bra off with your head. I know what you're up to, Ed Strong. I've seen you do that move plenty of times in Tomorrowland. That used to be your big move when the people mover was going head on the shoulder. Next thing you know, loose tatas. I've seen you do it 1,000 times back in the day. All right. They're getting that. Look at that. No matter how tech we get, somebody still has to have a piece of paper like a golf score that they mark off. You don't have an iPad? You're literally just doing it on like a Yahtzee scorecard. I love that. So there you go. They have it all out in the water. So busy in this area, you really can't tell. Ducks are being put out in the water backstage. So the ducks will swim out. Here's the crew. Got to get that selfie. Picture it didn't happen. I do appreciate that the crew's on the upper deck, letting the guests have the lower deck. People got their iPhones out. That is not part of the production team. They're going to mess it all up. You can see the new frozen area in the background there. The frozen area looked pretty impressive when we did the little like jump jelly they have at that park, so we could get it. So Adam and I rolled that up so that we could look over and see what it looked like. All right, so they don't give you the whole show. They give you kind of a breakdown, but they did some really cool stuff where they put some 360 cameras on here and did some rotating footage, which just kind of gives you like. I'm gonna just take it back just a second here. This footage is really cool. They did a really good job with this video. You can see the drones actually taking off mid-show. So if you look over in there, you can see the drones actually taking off while there's like pyro that's going off. So you're looking at the pyro, probably not seeing the drones go up. And it's fascinating how, you know, the old 1-2 punch, like World of Color, or not World of Color, Fantasmic. When the water projections are up, they're doing something on the island. When they're doing something on the island, the water projections go down. And so it's like a 2-level storytelling where you never know what's going to happen next. So here they are in Command Center. That's a really cool aerial shot. Man, look at that. You can see, look at this screen right here. You can see that hard edge. Like you can really see how defined the projection is. Like those projectors look so loose to us, but look at that hard edge where you can see that's where like the frame has its hard edge there. And you know, a guest will never see this 360. A guest is going to stand in one spot and watch it straight ahead. But the fact that they're doing these rolling shots that kind of show you all the technology, it's really cool to see all the technology. Doesn't really do much for the guest. Oh, there it is. Shit, sorry. All right. You see that little T that's like right above my finger? That's the thing that me and Woo got on. It's like their jump jelly, but it's green army men. And so he and I rode that up to the top so we could look out and see the frozen land, because neither one of us had ever seen an Arendelle in a Disney park. So we went over to this park and I'm like, hey man, we got to ride this so we can see what they're building. So Woo and I rode that, and he was like, hey man, I'm coming back here tomorrow. I'm going to film all just this park so you can get the better seat so you can see everything. So goes to show what a stand-up guy he was. Love when I film fireworks. I love filming from behind people. I love the silhouette of people with the fireworks off in front of them. I love filming people's phones as they're filming the fireworks. And when you're going by with the camera, if you can catch a kid on the shoulders and if the kid has ears on, oh, it's just beautiful. Cinematic. So here's some more of those like drone shots that they did, or boat shots. Who knows? Maybe this is being shot on a duck. French people getting jiggy with it. So this kind of like rolling pattern with the drones, it's not that exciting. Like I said, drone technology, I think, is going someplace more fascinating. See, that's the shot right there. Damn it. I love that shot. I get that shot all the time. A little bit of pyro, firework pulse. It's cool, you know, it's cool how much storytelling they can do from this thing. And like I said, when we think about the footprint that they'll have to work with in the Toy Story parking lot, this perfectly aligns what they would do there. And think about, that's probably a decade away. So this technology will be even better by the time they're doing that. So like, it's basic in its shape, but this manatee or whatever this creature is swimming by, more of that with the drones. And think about it, like as drone technology gets better and the pixels either get, you know, one drone has more than one pixel, or they can get closer together so you have more pixels to tell the story. Like, just think about like what Atari, like think about Pong. Pong was just like a square and a rectangle. And then Atari had more resolution. And then when I saw Nintendo, I was like, what in the hell? That looks like a cartoon. Now I look at Nintendo and I'm like, dude, that is so pixelated. But think about it. We're at the Pong stage of drones. Soon we'll be in the Atari stage. Then we'll work our way to the Nintendo stage. And eventually we'll get to PlayStation 4 and Xbox 5 or whatever we're at. But like that kind of animation through the pixels it's really good. That's about as much as you can do right now with that many drones. Here the fleet's coming back down. Some really cool shots, man. They did a really good job with using different camera technology for the right shots. They're very proud of their work, and they should be, but they worked very hard on this. I love seeing those lights though. Like the fireworks pulses are going off and the drones are just chilling in there. But if you think about this, if this is like a 15-minute show, they only had to use fireworks at certain times because they're able to pad the rest of it out with all the different lighting, projecting, the drones, which, like I said at the beginning of this, they're trying to use as few fireworks as possible. And each one of these shows, they get a little bit less reliant on fireworks. So there you go. I thought that was cool. I've given Disney crap for a long time about how unwatchable most of their YouTube content is. The Disney Unscripted series is actually pretty cool. Let me know in the comments if you like this, and maybe we'll break down one of these in the future. I want to say thank you to Miguel for my one and only super chat. You're my man, Miguel. I appreciate you. I'll take a couple comments and then I'll head off into the night. Not drones, fairy dust. I love that. Chucky Chicken Cartoons. I personally can't wait for the Sega Genesis of the era of drones. I mean, you got a couple of years, but we'll get there. Walk on Wanderers. Just saying hi from Epcot tonight. First trip to Walt Disney World. Gotta say, it's not Disneyland and it's in a great way, but fun. Dude, if you're in Epcot, I'm blocking you from the chat. I want you to go get back into Epcot, dude. Get off of this. Get off your phone and get back into Epcot. Can I like temporarily block you from this? I want to block you for like 5 minutes. Ed Strong, appreciate you, brother. I'll look the other way on your harassment. You've just paid my love. Yeah. So I thought this would be a cool thing. I'm gonna be going live again on Friday. I'll be doing it Friday afternoon. Yeah. Walk on Wanderers. That's who I met the other day in the park. Go be with your family. Get off of here. Walk on Wanderers is the dude that I met. I'm pretty sure it's the guy that I met who I interviewed. Oh, it's closed. If Epcot's closed, then I'll allow you to be on your phone. Walk on Wanderers is the kid that I interviewed in the Buzz Lightyear video. That's his dad who does a YouTube channel. So good to see you. If it's closed, then you can be on here. Tea and Arsenic. If Villain's Land were successful enough in Florida, is it plausible that it could eventually replace Tomorrowland and Disneyland? I don't know, man. I don't know if they do that. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you. Love your stuff, man. It's been helping me through a hard time recently. I appreciate that, man. The amount of people that say to me, you know, I watch your videos when I'm getting dialysis or when I'm at the hospital or getting my chemo treatments. Like, that is the ultimate to know that this is what somebody chooses to watch when they're in those rough times. So I appreciate. I don't know what you're going through. Hopefully it's nothing that serious. Hopefully it's just like you're like in a total snack crisis and you're just like, I don't know, man. Do I want chips or pretzels? Guess I'll watch another Brickey video until I can figure out chips or pretzels. Hopefully that's what you're going through, but I appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Caleb. Maverick is the kid that I interviewed. Ed Strong. Epcot never closes. It's a state of mind. I like that. I would agree with that. I agree with that. Oh, solo trip to Epcot. Hell yeah. What'd you tell your wife? Get the kids situated in the hotel room and I'll go get us sunscreen and all the supplies that we need. Oh, wait a minute. This Costco's not open yet. They're not done building it. Chucky Chicken Cartoons. I know you just read my comment, but I wanted to send some love. Been feeling creatively bankrupt, but you helped me out big time. Lots of love. I understand the feeling creative bankrupt. I get that. I've been there before. What I do when I'm feeling creatively bankrupt is I take a walk or I take a day off. Like sometimes I just know I don't feel like I have it in me. And I learned a long time ago that if you like try to like force your way through it, you just wear yourself out more and more and more. And if I sit at this desk and I don't feel it, then I just get up. But I also have another trick I'll tell you. On days when I think that I don't feel like working or I don't feel creative, I got a little magic trick. I take this watch right here or my iPhone and I will be like, you know what? I'm going to sit at my desk. I'm going to run the timer on my watch for like 30 minutes or an hour. And I'm just going to work for 30 minutes or an hour. And I haven't taken a day off in like 18 days. So if when that timer goes off in 30 minutes to an hour and I don't feel like working, to hell with it. I deserve a day off and it is what it is. And I'll just figure it out tomorrow. I need to rest my brain. I need to rest my creativity. But what I find is that most of the time, by the time that timer goes off, I'm like, I got this. I'm feeling it. So that is my number one trick for motivation is just sit down, give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, you tried. You're not lazy. You tried. You're not feeling it today. You don't feel it every single day. But 9 times out of 10, after I get through that first hour, then the addiction kicks in and the dopamine. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a pretty cool video. Or, oh, I'm having fun researching this. Like, oh, I didn't know that about this story. That's pretty interesting. So that's my hack. Oh, work trip. Yeah, honey, I hate to leave you with the kids, but work, what are you going to do? Yeah, I got to go out to Orlando for this seminar. Yeah, man, but you were doing a lot of work. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love a good work trip to Epcot. I've had to make those myself before. Sick. Oh man. Broken all broken. The muscle nerds will tell you during rest is when growth happens. Oh, look at that. Maybe true for your muscles, but not true when you're a working creative. Rest is when no money happens. And then you're like, oh, I'm rested, but now I'm stressed out. Timer starts. I actually was working on merch today. Yeah. Josh knows about business trips. We're on to these Disney business trips. I've met a lot of people at Disneyland that were on a business trip. Um, I'll tell you the story. So my sister has a friend, and her friend, who I don't know anything about her. This is a story that my sister told me. My sister is so awesome. She is so rowdy. I only have one sibling, a younger sister. Love her to death. She's amazing. She is so rowdy and crazy. So my sister tells me this story that her friend was at home, just doing home stuff. She looked over at her phone and she had a push notification from Disney. Whatever, they're trying to sell me something. Who cares? Ignored it. She's doing more stuff around the home. Looks over at her phone. Another push notification from Disney. Kind of blows it off, whatever. Then later on the day, she gets another push notification from Disney. So finally, she's just kind of like, what the hell's going on? She looks at it. She has an update in her Walt Disney World app. So she's like, that's weird. She opens it up. The push notifications were from her husband, who's on a business trip. And that business trip was him at Disney World with his girlfriend. And those notifications were, you have a new photo available. And he was going around ripping pics with his girlfriend, giving him the magic band, letting that go over to the family account where the wife is at home being like, wait a minute, what is this notification? Open it up. There's hubby just going around with his new gal. What a scumbag. What a scumbag. And you know that this has had to have happened more than once. That is, I think that's the best Disney story I could end tonight with. All right, friends. We looked at sexual harassment in the workplace. This camera is on auto and it gets way too bright. That's way too dark. I'm coming back. The auto on this camera is like always way too bright. Either that or I'm way too white. We looked at sexual harassment in the workplace. We looked at adultery vacations to Disney World. And what we really looked at, James Brown, really enjoyed your park updates last week. Thanks for taking us to the park and seeing the changes through your eyes. I appreciate that. It was fun. I had a good week last week. It was fun to see everybody show up and watch the videos. And I was able to actually get my documentary finished about Fort Wilderness for the main channel. So last week felt like a good week of work. I appreciate that, bud. Thank you for all your support. Appreciate you. Hope to see you in Tomorrowland again soon. Anyways, we looked at a video. You can find it over on the Disney Parks channel. It's a beautiful title for the video. It rolls right off the tongue. I mean, they really got their YouTube game down. Inside Disney Cascade of Lights' first aquatic drone nighttime show, Disney Unscripted, just nailed it. Like rolls right off the tongue. SEO, 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 SEO. So, you want to watch it? Hey, Michael, for real photobomb. That is the blow your life up photobomb. Walk on Waters. No girlfriend here. Just Epcot vibes and some hard ass work tomorrow morning. All right. Well, get at it, brother. Get at it. Ken Pace, no way. Jeff Pike, no way. Rich, holy cow. Broken, all broken. OMG. Pandora, busted. Photobomb's the best one, though. All right, friends. I will be live this Friday afternoon. That will be our next live stream. And videos all week on this channel. No video this Saturday on the main channel. That will be coming up next Saturday, doing 2 weeks so that I can produce the documentary style videos I'm doing over there. But I got a fun video for you guys this Saturday that'll be on this channel where I did a little challenge. I tried to see how many pin trades could I do inside of 70 minutes. We did a little celebrate happy pin challenge where I went around and let me tell you, doing that... I'll get to you in 1 second, Mr. JSR Dunn. Doing a 70-minute pen challenge at 5 o'clock on a Saturday might have been the worst time that I could have ever done it. But I'll tell you what, didn't stop me from having fun. So I can't wait for you to guess How many pins? How many pin trades do you think I could do in 70 minutes on a busy Saturday? JRs are done. Sorry I missed the live. That's all right. I record these. You can go back and watch it. I'll have to watch it on repeat. Oh, going to watch it more than once. I love that. Don't skip the ads. Got time for a Guardians Volume 2 soundtrack entry? New contest. You're doing... What are you doing? Making a Guardian... Give me more information here. You've piqued my interest. Trenta cold brew splash of cream. Mike D, I love that. Appreciate that. The Friday one will be early afternoon. All right, I'm waiting for more information from J.R. Sardone because I don't quite understand. Got time for a Guardians Volume 2 soundtrack entry. Are you actually making a Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack and you're looking for music from that time? Because, I could crush music from that time. Beth is like, why do I get all these push notifications? Crazy for Disney, sir. I like this. This makes me feel like Donnie. Sir? Guy comes up to me in the park with tears in his eyes and goes, sir, I just wanted to thank you for your vlogs. Hope to one day meet you in the parks. Welcome to pin trading. I mean, yes, I am pin trading. My pin, the one pin that will rule them all. There will be a day where I'll walk through the park and they're like, there he is. There goes the guy. That's the guy. That's the guy that traded one pin 2,000 times. That's the pin. Like, I can't wait till it gets to the moment where people come up to me like, hey, Brickey, can I get a photo? I'm like, yeah, man, get in here. I'm like, no. I just want to get a photo of the pin, the magical pin that ruled them all. I'm like, all right, take a photo in my pocket then, dork. Make your own Volume 2 6-song ride playlist for the ride 6-song set. You know what JSR done? Friday, when I go live, I will have my 6 songs picked out. Or is it 6 songs for the drop, or are we doing Cosmic Rewind? Brickey, I'll be at Disneyland in June. Hope to see you there. I'm taking the whole month of June off. No, I'll be there. For the ride. Is it for Cosmic Rewind or for the drop? Because that will change. I hope it's for Cosmic Rewind because that's a better music ride. All right, I'm waiting for JSR Dunn to give me my assignment. Cosmic. All right. Join me Friday when I will have I'm going to make a note of this. I love this challenge. I love music. Can't play the songs, but I'll make a playlist and you guys can listen to it. 6 songs. Cosmic. Friday. I'll tell you what won't be on my playlist. Conga. Conga is the worst song you could get if you ride Cosmic Rewind. I knew I'd probably only get to ride it one time because of my severe motion sickness. That ride made me the sickest I've ever been. And I got Conga. And funny, I was hanging out at the park that day. It was the 40th anniversary of Epcot. And I got off the ride. And I was filming that day with Adam. And I talked to him the next day. And I'm like, dude, I saw your video. You didn't show me get off of Epcot. And he's like, dude, you look so sick. It just felt too personal to film. I'm like, you should have filmed how sick I was. He's like, no, man, it looked way too personal. How sick you looked when you got off of that. I'm like, no, man, you should have filmed it, put it in your video. It would have been epic. He's like, no, man, it seemed like too much of a personal moment. How sick you were. Oh, dude. My dream, Jesse, was I never wanted to be a wrestler for the WWE. I only wanted to be a wrestling manager. And really what I wanted to do is I just want to walk down the ramp. Like the idea of walking to the ring, I don't care about the fighting. I just want to walk to the ring. And I always wanted to be a wrestling manager because I just realized like to go into a hockey stadium of like 15,000 people and just instantly make them all hate you. Oh God, it would be so much fun. If there's any amateur wrestlers out there and you're coming through Southern California and you need a manager for just one night, trust me, I will work a shoot on that crowd like you've never seen before. I have studied the art of the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. I could perfectly chop up what that city tell them they're all worthless. They wouldn't even know it hit them. All right, friends, show up Friday with your 6-song playlist. I see Moose Mellows is going to take on the challenge too. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you to all my super chatters for supporting the content. Thank you to all my Magic Brickey holders. And thank you to everybody who showed up tonight. And thank you to everybody who watches the videos. I appreciate you. And can't wait to see you Friday live. But until then, I'll see you daily over here. Got some fun videos popping up this week. Make sure you click on them. That's how it works. Goodbye. I appreciate you. Rich, sniping for Stu. Oh, you guys are too good to me. Stu, wait. You sniped the sniper, Rich. I love it.